On today's Impact Quantum, we meet Sanjay Chittor, the visionary founder of Quantum AI Global, and Q Labs, who's determined to turn quantum theory into practical reality. From healthcare breakthroughs to quantum memory and sensing. So buckle up, dear listener. Things are about to get entangled. Here's Frank and Candice. But first, some dubstep.
Hello and welcome back to Impact Quantum, the podcast where we explore the emerging industry of quantum computing. And you don't need to be a PhD or a physicist, you just need to be curious. And with me, as always, is the most quantum curious person I know, Candice Kahuli. How's it going, Candice?
It's going great, Frank. Thank you so much. I'm very excited today. We're going to be speaking with Sanjay, and he is the founder and CEO at Quantum AI Global. And he's also the CEO at Q Labs.
Very cool.
Sanjay, how are you today?
I'm good, Candice. Frank, thanks for having me.
Anytime.
You got me during the weekends, Friday evening, a little easier day. Thanks for picking this day. I'd be very thankful for you to have me in your podcast. I'm here to talk about our company, answer any of the questions, whatever you have. So I would let you start with the kind of questions or what you want to know about me, or what would be, however you would like to take this podcast. I would go with the flow. So,
Sure.
Candice, all yours.
Okay,
Awesome.
so first I want you to explain to us, or how you would explain to a layman what it is that you do.
Well, we are a quantum and AI product company. Okay, so often there's a myth. There are quite a lot of people, they're not very aware of quantum. People think whatever we need to do with quantum, we need a quantum computer. That's the biggest myth. It's not, right? So we are a quantum and AI product company. When I talk about AI, we are working on quantum and AI integration, while the productization in quantum has been our focus priority goal. We have been around for almost 6 years, and we are a team of 65 people. I would call 65 scientists. Most of my employees are from the premium schools or wherever the physics is taught. I myself, I'm not a physics guy. I'm not a doctor. I'm just an engineer with the management foundations from Yale, and I'm a businessman who think out of common sense. So that's little about our company. Which area exactly you want to know more? Do you want to know more about our products, or which direction?
Yeah, I mean, how did you get started, right? Because according to the info sheet you sent us, you started in 2019. So what inspired you? Because in 2019, quantum computing was not on it, and certainly AI might have been on everybody's minds, but not quantum combined with AI.
Very good question, Frank. Actually, during COVID time, right before COVID, I kind of sold one of my other companies, and right during that time, I was thinking, what's next? So what I'm good at is I'm good at starting something from scratch and kind of growing value in it, and kind of either, always as a startup, I would look at an exit. Usually my exits are like 3 to 5 years. So I just got a nice exit, and then I was thinking about what's next. Right at that point, the COVID hit, and I got a lot more time to sit at home and do research. So I took all the time not to hurry up too much, because even if I decide on what to do, there's nothing much to do. So I decided to take a lot of time. Obviously, Frank, you're right. All my focus was on AI. I know AI was the next big thing. And during COVID, I was just self-teaching myself. I used to get into room just like the office timings, every day, 9 o'clock, I used to get into a room and I start studying, self-teaching AI. But after a few weeks, I really was getting into depth of AI. I was not trying to learn algorithms or something to code, but I was more trying to learn AI in terms of, where are its applications, where are the business cases, where it's sellable, what's the most uh, uh, need of the hour problem statements in AI, kind of. But initially, in the first 3 weeks, as I was going through a flow, and I hit quantum at some point. Some of my searches were like, what are future technologies? How AI gets integrated? Is this what is AI? What is the end of AI? So my kind of research was based on these kind of questions. And then there's suddenly something like quantum appeared. So the moment quantum appeared, I kind of stopped and I went back and again I started. So this happened almost 2 months. And wherever I kind of see what is the max of capacity of AI or something, this quantum was coming in right at that point. That's where I took a break for a couple of days and I started knowing about quantum. What is this quantum thing? When I started reading about this quantum, right in the first week, I was blown away. I was completely blown away. I realized one thing there, which maybe how much ever quantum you guys know or in depth.
Enough to
What?
be dangerous, I like to say.
Very good.
Because every time I think I understand it, we talk to somebody that completely blows out my assumptions, right? And so my background is I'm an AI engineer, and prior to that I was a software engineer. And it's funny you mentioned 2019. This is what makes it funny. Is I first heard about quantum computing in a very real way while I was at a Microsoft internal research conference in 2019, like November 2019, and it was an AI conference. It's called MLADS. It's like probably if you work for Microsoft, you should probably learn more about it, do an internal search, but it's only for Microsoft people, unfortunately. But it's an epic event. I've only been to it in person like twice, and each time like it is a completely career changing, almost life changing event. Anyway, so the long and short of it is that day 2 keynote was kind of like talking about like Moore's law and how we're running out of compute, but there's still problems we haven't solved. What do we do? And I was like, oh God, I don't want to sit here in the audience and listen to a hardware pitch,
That's
right?
too much technical. They might have
Right.
talked about the Grover's algorithm, Shor's algorithms. No,
Right. Well, they
that's
didn't even
too
get to that
technical.
point, but
Use me in this podcast. I can explain you quantum in
please
layman's
do.
words.
Please do. But at first I was almost going to walk out of the room, and I'm glad I didn't, right? Because it was kind of like the next lady who came up, and I've since forgot her name. Basically kind of I had that like the light from the heavens opened, and I was like, oh my God, this is it. So sorry I cut you off.
Well, the kind of same thing happened for me when I was self-teaching quantum to me, but in a nicer way. There was this one day, even I was pretty confused about, talking about quantum. The two things, what completely broke my way of thinking. The first thing, when I read that quantum is not new, it's 100 years old. Einstein kind of discovered quantum, but then he kind of put it on shelf because he thought a human brain cannot, get to a point where where the quantum technology could be applied. Our brains are not built so smart. So that's first one. The moment I read that one, I went back. I'm reading about this AI, evolution of AI. Where is Einstein? Like, which means AI had evolved almost 5 decades later than this quantum what was invented or discovered, whatever you want to call, by Einstein. So that's a breaking point. That's where I kept this entire AI aside and I started reading quantum. And uh, 2 to 3 weeks from that point, I was only reading quantum. Around 3 weeks around, I realized one thing. This whole thing about AI or whatever digitalization or whatever computing, supercomputers, your button start cars to whatever is happening in the conventional world, it's all computing and electronics. Even you take a supercomputer to AI to GPUs, so it's all about computing plus electronics. That one day I have realized conventional world is computing plus electronics, quantum world is physics and electronics. There's enormous amount of difference between these two. So that's where I started thinking on this is it. The entire world as of today has been running in the combination, the digitalization, I'm not talking about farming and agriculture or anything. Any technology advancement we have achieved so far in the world, digitalization or technology advancement, it's all computing and electronics. Whereas quantum is physics and electronics, and it's a complete game changer. And that day when I realized that, I decided it has to be quantum.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. And the second point, whatever startups I have done, my theory is only one thing, Frank. I always look and do something in the futuristic thing because it's less crowded area. There are risks. Yeah, obviously there are risks because, in the futuristic technology, your monetization would be late. You cannot right away make money. In a crowded market, if you can have a key better feature, you can get into the market with some heavy investment or something, but it's always easier to be a big fish in a small pond. So in emerging technologies, as a businessman, for me, the loss is monetization would be little late, but there'll be very few people. If I could survive till the productization happens and right towards the commercialization, it will be little late, but floodgates will open when that happens. So I always believe in theory. I have done ethanol, biodiesel in 2001, 1997, and all. So I always believe in this futuristic technology, and that's how I decided this is it, quantum.
Right. What do you think? How do you think quantum and AI are gonna work together? Right? Because obviously we're in the middle of a hype wave.
Okay. How quantum and AI? Okay, yeah.
So
Finish your
like you're
question.
kind of like in the double hype tornado here, right? Like, or a hype monsoon, right? Now I'm not saying you're the hype guy, right? I'm just saying like it's really kind of seeing I kind of see the two worlds, they definitely intersect, and obviously I think we're towards the end of the AI hype wave, and I think we've yet to see what the quantum hype wave will look like. What do you think that means for the industry, startup opportunities, and things like that?
Okay. Point number one, quantum is completely different. AI is completely different.
Right.
There's no dependency as such. Okay. Now, some of the applications in AI, uh, uh, quantum can be used to increase the speed or increase the security or to handle enormous amount of data in AI, but it's not the other way. I don't think there's much of AI could help quantum. Of course, there are some applications like something when you are doing something in quantum communications or something, huge applications in quantum are lasers. And to stabilize laser stabilization, you can use AI or something. But as such, without AI, quantum can live. There's no link as such. A lot of people think that quantum is an extension of AI or it's going to make AI more powerful or something. Again, as I said, AI computing plus electronics, physics plus electronics, two different concepts. Now, how do you? I'm going to make a statement. To do something in quantum, you need a quantum computer. Is it a yes or no from your side?
I don't think you actually need one. I think simulation, you can simulate a quantum computer, although many of
No,
the
that's still
people we've
quantum
spoken
computer.
to.
If you're talking about quantum simulator, that's still
Right.
quantum computing only. You're simulating a
Okay.
quantum computer.
So, I mean, how would
Hmm.
you say that quantum inspired algorithms, would that count as quantum computing?
Can we live without quantum algorithms and still have quantum?
Ooh, I don't know.
Oh,
The answer is yes. So let me explain this. Quantum awareness. Most of the people who are non-quantum or quantum enthusiasts working up, like not into quantum, but enthusiasts, The first myth, to do anything in quantum, you need a quantum computer, wrong. There are 4 segments in quantum, okay? This quantum domain has 4 main segments: quantum computing, quantum communications, quantum sensing, quantum materials. Except quantum computing, you don't need quantum computer for any of the others, okay? Absolutely any of the others. Like, for example, you might have seen our products list. I have mentioned something called quantum memory. Have you seen that?
I've heard of that. What
Yes.
exactly is quantum memory?
Okay. I'm going at a very high level. Okay. Don't exactly count on this. So right now, Google has a quantum computer. IBM has its own quantum computer, but they all computing. All you can do is you throw a bunch of data and a complex problem, they compute and give the results back, but they don't have storage. Quantum memory could be that storage. None of the quantum computers in the world as of now, they have storage. Like if you see the classical computing, any supercomputer you take, or from our laptops to the supercomputers, we all have storage, right? We are saving the data. Whereas quantum computing, quantum computers haven't evolved to a point where they can design a storage. Quantum memory could be that storage, but our quantum memory is not designed to become a storage for a quantum computer. But our quantum memory means, so this is what I'm talking about. Without using quantum computer, there are a lot of quantum products we can build. For example, what is our quantum memory? When I said quantum communication, sensing, and particles, there are quite a few quantum particles. One of the most popularly used quantum particle is photons. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
bunch of photons is light. What is the fastest thing traveling in the world? Light. So quantum gets the speed of lights. Okay. So what we do in this quantum memory is we take bunch of photons, a laser shoots a beam, light beam, and the whole bunch of photons come. Then we identify one single photon. Light travels so fast that you try to mess with that, the photons will die. So to try to do anything with it, I'm talking in plain English, conceptually, technically, there's a lot more that, but so we take one photon, slow it down, slow it down, store information in it. Because if you don't slow it down, you cannot store, with that speed, you can't manipulate a photon. So first we slow it down, store information, leave it. Once we leave it, it goes lightning fast. And the same thing has to happen at the retrieval of the information. You again slow the photon down and retrieve the information. Okay. This is what happens in quantum memory, the box, whatever we have done. With no access to quantum computer, it doesn't need access to quantum computer. It's physics and electronics. So that's quantum computer. Now let's talk about quantum sensing. Now, if you ask me where all this happens, I'm not going to go too technical and bore you. So there's something called rubidium vapor cell in my memory box, whatever you have seen. This whole photons go inside. The slowing it down happens in the rubidium vapor cell, and that's where all the storage happens and it comes out. So it's kind of the quantum mechanics theory, but no quantum computer. Second thing, I'll give an example of quantum sensing. Okay. So whatever I talked about quantum memory now, it's quantum communication. No need of computer. Now let's come to quantum sensing. Quantum sensing. As of today, wherever any sensors are getting used in the conventional world, most of the sensors can be quantum sensors. Now you can say, Sanjay, when we have all these sensors, we have the superficial, I do this, my light comes up, to complicated sensors in the MRI machines to medical imaging and all. We use very complex sensors. When we have all these things, you can ask, why do we need quantum sensors? Now, here is the thing. The advantage between the classical sensors as of today, whatever sensors we have, the resolutions are limited to certain point only. You can't get more than that. Whereas quantum sensors can get resolutions to molecular atom level. So which means if you have a heart scanning using quantum sensor, you can find every cell, how they are behaving. In current world, there's no sensor which can even get to 2% of that resolution. Quantum can get to the resolution of uh, femtoteslas and nanoteslas, which are like molecular level resolution. So that's the advantage of quantum sensor. Now, to build a quantum sensor, again, we play around with the photons, the atoms get polarized, with your cells. It reads the signal from your cells, and the rubidium vapor cell, or there is NV diamonds, there are a lot of other technologies. The atoms get polarized, and that's how we simulate what is going on inside. In the classical world, there's no sensor, even the top best sensitivity sensor in the classical world is maybe 10% of quantum sensors. So there's quantum sensing. Then quantum particles I talked about. The real power of quantum technology is not just computing. There's very limited you can achieve through computing. The game changer are quantum communication and quantum sensing. Your healthcare is going to be drastically evolved. Your drug discovery with quantum is going to be in less than 3 months, whereas ideally it takes 4 to 5 years. Your lifespan, precision medicine, disease predictions, to everything. Our kids, fortunately or unfortunately, maybe we would not see this for ourselves, but I'm sure our kids, they're going to have a better life, longer life, healthier life. And I would bet this is only possible with quantum, no other technology.
So
Right.
Hope I didn't bore you.
No,
No, that's interesting. No,
yeah,
no,
I was reading the material about the quantum biosensor.
Yes,
And
that's what is a quantum sensor, yeah.
Right,
For
and then
healthcare.
right, for the healthcare implications. So the implications of this are fascinating. Can you elaborate more on the potential for diagnostics or imaging?
Okay, I'll give you a classic example. This is just a plain English example. How do you detect cancer now? Whatever sensors are there, the sickness, illness, and then doctor puts you through series of tests, bunch of sensors, and it only gives you a particular area. Okay, this area has cancer. Okay, let's take the most popular nowadays as like breast cancer. Okay, so would any of the most advanced sensors also will tell, okay, this area has cancer is all it's going to tell. Now the doctor kind of treats the chemos to radiation is in that area. How about there's a quantum sensor which gives you a report of the same breast cancer, total how many cells have cancer, how many cells have 100%, how many cells have 10%, how many cells have 0.1%. The problem with cancer is these cancer cells keep on multiplying enormously. So there's no control unless you kill all the cells. But practically in current world, you cannot kill all at once. And even after killing all, some might go into inactive stage. But the cancer cells have the power to get to the molecular resolution, which means if this become reality, the quantum sensor imaging will give you a map type of thing. Nicer cells, bad cells in red color. In bad cells, blue is like 5%, 10%, which means I foresee this happening in future. A cancer treatment is a walk-in, walk-out procedure with the quantum evolution, where the doctor sees this report of this map kind of thing. Then he takes a small needle and a probe. I really see this happening with quantum. It is possible and it's going to happen. He takes a probe, he sends into the body with the magnified screen. That's a video game. Pop, 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 pop. If you kill every cell, a cell which is 0.1% cancer also you kill, there's no cells to multiply. End of the story. Cancer got killed. 2 hours, 3 hours, how fast are you? It's all about how fast you can play a video game. Simple.
right.
Or maybe it will get to a point where you can just scrape all the thing or whatever. But easiest I could imagine is just pop off all the cells.
Right.
This is power of quantum, not computing, not algorithms, quantum sensing, quantum communications. Quantum communications, you have some of the sensors, right now the submarines, I think we can only detect any of the enemy submarines till they come to a certain point. But quantum sensors have the sensitivity or there's something called Redberg sensors, gravimeters.
Right.
Even if the submarine is just moving at the enemy shore, we will know. So this is the kind of technological advancement what we are going to get with quantum communications, quantum sensing. Of course, I'm not denying that quantum cryptography is not going to. What quantum cryptography is going to give you is, as of today, any of the best top supercomputer in the world, a particular computation problem and amount of data to compute it, it takes 1 billion years.
Right.
That billion years of computing challenge will be fixed by a quantum chip in 5 minutes. And this is reality. Google came up with Willow chip, right? Willow quantum chip. Just do Google on that Google's Willow chip. This is the problem statement. The top the best supercomputer in the world as of today, a particular computation takes 1 billion years. Quantum can solve in 5 minutes. So this is a computing side. So there's a technological advancement in the computing side also, but the world seems to neglect that it's not just computing. There's a lot more to quantum, and everything what I talk now, even quantum computer is built on quantum physics and in qubits, and communications or sensing, everything in qubits. Should I explain you
Nice.
very simply what is the difference between classical world and quantum world?
Sure, sure.
Or if you have any questions, I would answer that and I'll come back to this.
I know Candace is probably chomping
No,
at the
no,
bit
I
to
want
ask
you to
questions.
go. I want you to go ahead. Go ahead. I'm learning more every second as you continue to go
Well,
on.
it's cool because everybody has like a slightly different analogy
whether
for
quantum
qubits.
computing,
Yeah.
but computing or any of the quantum physics, why it is so powerful, why it is able to get this kind of technology advancement, why it is able to get this sensitivities, why the speed and all. It's kind of the two things, two basic things quantum gets to the table. One is enormous amount of security, like unbreakable security. No one can break quantum. Two, enormous amount of speed. Okay. So let me explain why and how we get this one. Classical world. When I use classical world as of today's world, when I use quantum world, whenever quantum evolves to a point where everything will become quantum. Okay. So in classical world, we all went to the schools. No matter what happens, you send an image to, you send hello, hi, whatever you do, the data always gets transferred in zeros and one. For example, Candice sends me a WhatsApp message, hi. Now, H has a value of 1001, I has a value of 1100, let's assume. So when she sends hi, I'm giving a layman's example, okay? When she said hi, it gets converted to 1001, 1100, and the data travels to my phone, and then it decodes it back to hi. Okay. So in the classical world, everything is ones and zeros, and these ones and zeros are stored in bits. That's what, KB, bytes, bits, bytes, kilobytes, megabytes, all this, because the data gets stored or travels in bits. Okay. And it's all ones and zeros. Classical world. Quantum world. Even in quantum world, it's still ones and zeros on. Okay. We don't have any extra numbers added here. But a 1 will travel between any value between 1 and 0. And a 0 will travel between any value between 1 or 0, like 0 or 1 or 1 or 0, which means in words you might have heard it travels between 1 and 0, but I'll explain you what it is in with a nice example. It's still ones and zeros. How many values are there between ones and zeros? Like a gazillion values, like 1.1, 1.2, 1.11, 1.111, 1. So there's
Effectively infinite.
a lot of combination. Yeah, infinite. So to explain classical, both are ones and zeros. Both data storage, data travel happens in ones and zeros. In classical world, it's bits, storage or traveling is in bits. In quantum, Frank, just imagine in classical world, 1 is heads of a coin, 0 is tails of a coin. Because even in the classical world, it's either 1 or 0, but it can never be both. So that's the reason I'm taking example of a coin. Okay. So if H is 1001, so 3 heads and 1 tail are going together. Okay. That's how data travels. Either heads or tails, 1 or 0. In quantum world, imagine the same coin you have flipped in air. You flip the coin in air and just freeze it in your brain, just freeze that. Now, what happens if the data is traveling like that? Till the coin falls on the ground, you don't know whether it's 1 or 0. Understood? So in the quantum world, why it is unbreakable is it is going in any form. Just imagine when you spin,
I
how many probability combinations are there for it to be 1 or 0? See my point?
So I see what you mean. So it would be 2 out of infinity.
Just
Practically never going to happen, or it would happen.
Who can crack that? Those many probabilities.
In a trillion years.
There's no algorithm anyone can write. Even if 20 Einsteins are working together, still they cannot write an algorithm to crack open. Frank, you gave an extraordinary probability. 2 versus infinity. Uncrackable. Right. So this is one thing what quantum gets
Anyone
to the
who's
table.
ever bought a lottery ticket knows and lost, which is pretty much me every time, right? Like anyone and most people, right? That's not 1 out of infinite, right? That's only out of a couple hundred million.
Yeah. Infinity, definitely.
Yeah. Those are small change compared to infinity.
Right. So that's the reason it's unhackable. Whereas in the conventional world, when the data is traveling, Candy said send me hi. When the data is traveling in ones and zeros, someone has the key of either side. He taps, he gets the bunch of ones and zeros, and he kind of decrypts it so that someone who is tapping, he will know, okay, she has sent hi to him. Whereas in quantum world, he would not get whether it's a 1 or a 0. So this is practically impossible for him. Now, this is called qubits. In classical world, the data travels and stores in bits. In quantum world, it's called qubits. So what is the difference now? It's very clear. Qubits have the flipped coin thing. Classical bits cannot handle flipping. It only can handle 1 or 0. So the power of quantum or qubits means every data storage or traveling, all of them are the flipped coin versions. Bits, qubits. Ones and zeros, any value between 1 and 0. Understood? Make sense? Or did I confuse you?
Makes a lot of sense, yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense.
Super. This concept, this at a high level for people like you and me, all we need to know is this much of quantum. Okay, there's a second thing I'll tell why it gets speed from how it gets. So this concept in quantum is called superposition. The ability to travel be between 1 and 0, superposition. That's a word they use. There's a lot more to this. So this is at a high level.
So as I understand it, right? Like it's neither 1 or 0, but most of the time it's going to lean slightly more one to the other. Is that a good way to put it? No? Okay. So there can be only like a pure...
So again, a layman's word statement.
Right.
You and me, whoever taps would not know, but only quantum knows whether it's 0 or 1. Quantum does know.
Is that the whole probability wave thing? Gotcha.
Only quantum knows it's 1 or 0. If you have to hack quantum, exactly what you said, someone have to write an algorithm, 2 versus infinity, practically impossible. But quantum knows. That's the reason they named it as a qubit. Why in the practical, as of today, bit, the flip coin cannot be stored? That's a property of quantum. Only quantum knows. That's a quantum physics. Okay. Now let me talk about speed. Whether in quantum computing or sensing or communication, wherever I'm talking about, quantum gets enormous amount of speed. We talked about Willow chip and all. Let me explain you this concept. In classical world, we can look at my hands so that we can understand better. Imagine a maze. Okay, we have a maze. So what is the problem statement of the maze? If there's a maze like this, so there's an entry from here. So we need to figure out how to get out. So the goal is to come out. The maze has multiple these things. So in the classical world, any computing, when you give a problem statement or a computation, first it goes in like this. There's a block, comes back, it tries here, it goes in like this, block, comes back, and if there's something, so every time it hits a roadblock, it takes, comes, but eventually the computing will happen and the result will be given. But this is how it travels, the maze, like go ahead, come back, go ahead. In quantum world, there is a concept called entanglement. Okay, this also I will explain you in a very plain English. Entanglement means the same thing can exist in two places, but completely integrated with each other. Actually, it's only one. It's only one, but can exist in two places, which means what happens? The same example of a maze. There's a maze. So we have two ways. One way this way, one way this way. Okay, to go. So in the classical world, it'll go here, hit a road back, come back, and goes here. In quantum world, right here, it splits into two. One goes this side, one goes here. Here there's a block that's gone. This continues to go. And here again, it splits into two. So quantum has this concept. This is quantum physics. Quantum physics. It has a concept of entanglement where, in plain English, it could split into two. Same one, completely integrated with each other, which means whatever is happening here, it's happening here too, but still exist in two different places and perform two different tasks.
Is that the spooky action? Is that the
No,
spooky?
no.
No. Okay. Okay.
Some people. Okay.
No, there's a lot. And what's interesting about quantum physics is like what we would perceive as kind of reality at our level.
This is reality.
No, I know this is real. I know, and this is real. That's why if I throw a ball at a wall, it's going to bounce off the wall.
Yeah.
Right? Realistically. It's not going to quantum tunnel through and then, hit somebody walking outside on the sidewalk. Right?
Okay. Hang on to the same example. I'll explain you in quantum. I'll explain you in quantum, the
Please.
same example. Okay. Before I explain this, let me tell you, okay, classical world, Frank has 8 meetings, 1 hour each in a day. So how much time it will take for you to finish? If you don't have to take any breaks, 8 hours.
Because it has to be sequential.
Yeah. How about Frank splits into 8? It's Frank only, 1 Frank. You split into 8. You went into 8 meetings. You're still 1, but in each meeting you are performing or listening to whatever is the content without jumbling with the other meeting simultaneously. Then how much time it takes for you to finish off all meetings?
1 hour.
That's how quantum gets speed. Entanglement.
Massive parallel nature of the universe.
So just in this example, you have saved 8 hours to 1 hour. How about Frank splits into 20? You have 20 meetings, 1 hour. Still, it's going to be 1 hour only. 100 meetings, you split 100. Still, it's 1 hour only. 100 hours. This is what quantum gets. This is how quantum gets speed at a very high level. Now, don't go to a quantum expert and give this example. He will say, go slap that person. I told you just to understand this how this entanglement works. The speed in the quantum works with this kind of entanglement. Now, I'll come back to the same example. You threw the ball at the wall. Okay? Frank, this is the example I'm getting. You know it's going to bounce back. That's what you said, right?
Pretty much, yeah. It's going to bounce off the wall, whether it's going to bounce back at me or whatever the term for angle of incidence and reflection and all that. Yeah.
Super. This is classical world. Classical computing, classical world, you throw a ball, it bounces up. In quantum world, you threw the ball. Ball. This is the wall. This is the ball.
Right.
And it is this. The ball is here. ball is here. It's not hitting. Ball is here, ball is here. Whether it'll hit or not, you don't know. You, in quantum world, you only see this. Hitting and coming up, forget it. It will be like this.
Oh,
It
because
might
it's
hit,
still a
it might,
probability.
it might hit, or the force is not enough that it might fall. But for whoever is playing around, it will only see this. It will leave you with that probability state, but it will never give you the result. That's what I'm talking about. It's between zeros and ones. Hitting is one, bouncing back is zero, or for example, something like that. It's not going to happen in quantum. It'll stay like this forever, making you guess.
Until it's observed.
That's quantum.
Or measured. But what's quantum tunneling then, right? Because the example I was going for was
No,
like
that's too
like-
depth, Frank. I don't think
okay.
in this
I'm just curious. Like,
podcast we should get into that direction because
enough.
it'll go deep technical. See,
Right,
this
right.
quantum is as much as you know, it'll confuse you more. So I would say
Wow, I'm already
keep it in this
confused.
level,
So
right?
okay.
Your podcast. I'm a businessman. Even my understanding, though I know a little more, I try not to mess it up. I make my scientists do things, though I get some ideas like how to do, what to do, but not our area kind of thing. So keep it in here for now. Easy. So we covered this. This is almost 1 year course in quantum. We covered superposition. We covered entanglement, and there's something called teleportation in quantum, where when we were kids, we saw the Star Trek, right? People disappear and reappear.
Right.
That is possible with quantum. It's called teleportation. Of course, I don't think human tissues could be regenerated, but we are talking about some papers or something in future. If the quantum becomes reality, there will be a thing where, hey, Candice, check this lip balm. It's so awesome. I can send it to you in US kind of thing. It might happen. But very much possible with the concept of teleportation in quantum physics.
So not just Amazon overnight, but Amazon instantaneous.
Yeah, Amazon by second. Yeah.
All right. Interesting.
So this is quantum, and now see how passionate I am towards this technology. All self-taught.
Oh, yeah.
And I have a bunch of PhDs in physics, PhDs in electronics working in our company. But I have built that team. I don't know quantum, but I have built an extraordinary team. I always believe that if you want to do something extraordinary, if you want to do something really tough and want to call it an achievement, it all should start from building a right team. That's the make or break. With a mediocre team, you can never achieve the greatest. Yeah, you will achieve, but the greatest is like something which was never done, which gives so much satisfaction, more than millions what you get, right? So I'm very good at assembling team. I have my own strategies. I'm honest. I tell them what I have. I don't tell that though I have 25 million fund in my pocket, come work for me. I say, I'm a startup, I have this one, but I will give you scope for you to grow. I will give you ownership. I will not question. You will only be given, I want this product, proof of concept. I will only give you task. I will let you give me how much time. I'll support you. I'll be there. I'll put money. So this is my style of working. And that's the reason most of these PhDs, they're not after money. They're about doing what they really like to do. And that's the reason they got to PhD. And if you could create that environment for them, that's the reason most of the PhDs end up as researchers, stay in the academias, because they get to do all that research. If you give the same opportunity in industry with a higher money, obviously industry pays higher money, they come. So my one team is this team. So the second team, productization. Who all are good in productization? People who work from some of those IBMs and some chip manufacturing company who are really good into productization. So this research unit is there, the productization, because the research team can never productize. The productization people can never do research. So they're kind of doesn't go. So you need to build these two teams and make sure there's a handshake between each other. That's where productization happens. And once productization happens, my forte is commercialization. I've done sales all my life. So this is my story, Candice, in short.
It's fascinating because, you're working with the research scientists, you're working with the engineers, you're turning true productization out of quantum. So you have a really kind of interdisciplinary, you know, mojo going on
Yeah,
that
right.
you're getting the best out of everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That's really
Actually,
fantastic.
I already have a market-ready quantum cryptography product, which you have seen in my thing, which is called Q-Forte. We are India's first to have built a room temperature rack-compatible quantum memory that's in communications and quantum biosensing. Right now, proof of concept is going on. We were able to make it. Usually, these are big in quantum. Whoever are doing in quantum sensing, we are able to box it to 10 centimeter into 10 centimeter into 10 centimeter, which is like maybe a little bigger than this, my sensor. So that's the
Right.
biggest
Right.
achievement. But till the proof of concept is over and regulated in healthcare, regulation is extremely important. The outputs to everything has to be regulated. And I believe in collaboration than compete. I'm only doing quantum sensor. I'm collaborating with another agency who are very good with quantum imaging. So I really don't want to do both. It'll take a lot of time. So I'm collaborating imaging, quantum imaging, some done by someone else, and together we'll own this IP. Because in
Right.
quantum sensing, the challenge is not just about building sensor which can read the signals of the body. How do you convert into an image? Unless there's an image, there's no purpose. So quantum image resolutions are so fine that no regular imaging can handle. So it needs to be, again, using quantum only, you have to define this image.
Interesting.
So,
Before we run out of time,
mhm,
I really want you to talk to us a little bit more about Qubit IQ,
good.
one of your products, because from what I understand, this particular product bridges classical and quantum paradigms, and therefore it's going to make quantum more accessible to businesses and researchers faster than I think some other type of
Right.
products are going on right now. Can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Qubit IQ,
Mm-hmm.
it's a kind of AI and quantum integration. Okay. Qubit IQ can do a lot of things, but in a very simpler way, relating to all the examples I have given in this call, I'll tell you what Qubit IQ does. It does a lot more, but at a very high level. In classical world, data is in bits. In quantum world, data is in qubits. When qubits data is spinning, this is one. When we move from classical world to quantum world, the data stored in bits, how do you want to convert into the rotational qubits? Qubit IQ does that. Whatever data we have in the classical world in the form of bits, without disturbing the integration of the data, it converts it into qubit. The world needs this one because as we transition from the classical computing to quantum computing, the data storage, old data and all, quantum cannot read that ones and zeros. It only reads that anything between 1 and 0. It's a conversion tool. That's one of the things Qubit IQ does, but it does a lot more. The segmentation, it suggests, what are the best ways. You have a problem statement, for example, drug discoveries or something, you have a problem statement. It kind of takes a problem statement, divides it into subsections, and it tells it divides into sub problems, and it automatically tells this problem use AI, this problem use GPU to solve, this problem use quantum processing, the QPU. So it will drill down a most complex problem into multiple sub problems, giving the solution on fix each of the sub problems using these, come back and consolidate. That way it's easier and they can get a solution out. So this is one thing what Qubit IQ does. It's a very complex product. This product is built based on, we have a IP also on that one. One of my employee, this is his PhD thesis. I took that and I productized. Simple.
Okay.
I
That's
asked him, what are your plans with this? I don't know, Sanjay, this one, no one understands this. I've done this for PhD. I did this. They gave me a PhD and I put it in the shelf. I said, bring that back. I will fund it. Let's make a product out of it. And that's why we got. But this is a little advanced. Right now, there's no use case for this one, just because I already have this PhD. But today, if I go to the marketplace, the project, there's no one converting yet. But in future, it's going to happen.
Okay. So I see the products that you are creating. I see how they can touch healthcare. I see how they can touch energy. I see how,
IoTs, drones, all the oil industries, sensing is in oil industries,
yeah.
telecommunications, finance. Applications are huge, Candice. Someday you will come and say, thank you, Sanjay. Early days, you spent 1 hour with me.
No, Sanjay, you're brilliant. I'm not even gonna like even pretend to not say it. Like you're brilliant, and it's not just because of what you know, but it's your ability to communicate.
Candice, I'm not brilliant.
Impeccable.
I'm a dreamer. I'm really a dreamer. I love to achieve something. My dreams are very big. For some reason, I don't know how to dream small. My dreams are very big. But often for people like me, I get a lot of people who laugh at me. But I always take it as a constructive criticism, because if you don't have people, as a wise man said, if you don't have people to laugh at your dream is not big enough. And all I know is to
Yes.
dream big. End of the story. And
Oh, I love
idea is not enough. You need to know how to execute. So every day I struggle. I fight with myself on what is the right direction to go. Sometimes the other side of Sanjay is wrong. Sometimes this side of Sanjay is wrong. So every day's fight is about how do I implement to get to that big dream. This is it. My
Wow,
power
that's
is
cool.
only this.
No, I'm going to take that. Like if people are not laughing at your dream, then your dream isn't big enough. I just think that's fantastic.
Yeah, you think about
It
anyone who's changed
motivates
the
me. I
world, they
want,
thought they were
yeah.
crazy. Right.
Mhm.
But during earlier stages of my life, I used to get depressed. I used to I scrapped few ideas also because people laughed at it. But that was younger, when I was like maybe 15 years younger than now. No more. I convert that. I want more people to laugh. Every time someone laughs, that kind of further motivates me stay put. Someday this fellow also you have to show.
That's right.
Two
That's
more
right.
people today I got two more people to show. So my count gets added. Simple.
There you go. So where can folks find out more about you, your company, and what you're up to?
Right now, my goal.
Yeah. No, I meant like a website. Like where
Best
can
to find
folks,
out about LinkedIn, your website,
your company?
where can people get information about your company?
Well, most of it is on the website. Some of the things we don't publish on website, because in quantum, few things you need to go on a stealth mode. You don't want to publish too
Yeah.
early. There's a lot of criticism towards prove it kind of thing. Uh,
Mhm.
the best way to know about me is my LinkedIn,
Okay.
because success is a journey. Website is static. My
That's a
website
good point.
cannot talk about company, but my LinkedIn, every achievement will be on it. The best way I would say is follow the company on the LinkedIn, me on LinkedIn. Dynamically, we will know what's happening with us every day. Website is
Cool.
always static. We don't update it. No. I think it's the same with every company.
Fantastic.
Awesome. All right. Well, that sounds good. And we'll let our AI finish the show.
And there you have it, from photons to qubits and dreams too big to fit in classical memory. A huge thanks to Sanjay Chittor of Quantum AI Global. And Q Labs for reminding us that the quantum revolution isn't just theory, it's engineering, business, and a bit of audacity all spun together. If you enjoyed today's episode of Impact Quantum, do the responsible thing, like, subscribe, and share it with someone who still thinks Schrödinger is just a bloke with a cat problem. For more episodes, insights, and perhaps the occasional paradox, follow Impact Quantum wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, keep your data superposed and your curiosity entangled. This is Bailey, signing off, collapsing your wave function politely.